MidJourney is definitely the gold standard when it comes to generative AI art software, but it comes with a steep monthly price, and it can only be used, at least for now, in Discord. Fortunately, as with most things, some developers came along and created some software that not only tries to mimic a lot of the features that MidJourney has, but I think does a really good job of it. So today, let's do a deep dive and take a look at Fooocus. Or is it Fooocus? I don't know, there's a lot of O's in there. To get started, you just head over to the Fooocus GitHub page. And as you scroll down, you can see some really impressive examples. This is non-cherry picked. It's just the term forest elf used to generate this, which is pretty crazy because normally you'd have to do a bunch of tweaking and tuning. And as it says, this doesn't have any strange prompt tags or anything else going on here. Pretty amazing. Much like most other Stable Diffusion software, this is built based on Gradio. That's the underlying software that they use for this, but they've done a lot under the hood to make it even better. And like I was saying, they really made this easy to understand if you're coming from MidJourney over to Fooocus. They even have this entire list of the prompts and the types of things that you would do with MidJourney and how it translates over into what you can do in Fooocus. And we're going to dive into almost every one of these. And I'm not going to do an install tutorial here. I'll do one separately and link to it, but the requirements aren't that steep. 4 gigabytes of GPU memory, which is pretty much available on anything recent. You can run that on an RTX 2000 series, 3000, or 4000 series. If you have an older, say like a 1080, 1070 from NVIDIA, you do need 8 gigabytes of VRAM. And if you have something like a GTX 900 series, you can still do it, but again, 8 gigabytes of VRAM. System memory, similarly, you need 8 gigabytes of RAM in your PC, and it's going to use something called System Swap, which you do have to configure if you only have 8 gigabytes of memory. If you have 16 or more, you're totally fine. This is the user interface for Fooocus. If you happen to notice, I have !__ theme equals dark up in the URL. That gives you this dark mode theme, and I like this a lot more. As someone pointed out in one of my previous videos, it was pretty blinding. Now you can come in and just simply type a prompt in the box and click generate, and you should get some pretty decent images to begin with. You can't be mad at the results. Look at this. It's just a beautiful woman is the prompt, and this came back, and these are both beautiful women. It would be incredibly difficult to get this quality out of, say, Automatic 1111, Comfy UI, Invoke, any of those right out of the gate. And I'll show you why. If you click on the Advanced tab, you can see some of the stuff that's going on behind the scenes. Now, this was set at the speed performance setting, so this wasn't even the highest quality it can generate. You can click on quality. You also have all these different aspect ratios you can change. So you can select the image size. By default, it's a 9:7, sort of a portrait wide image, and you can set the number of images that it generates. So by default, it's set to 2. You can even enter your negative prompt, of course, but I'll show you why you probably don't need to do that in just a minute. I'm not going to click on the Style tab just yet. We're going to first go to Model. I want to explain what's going on here. This is using the Juggernaut XL model, which is a fine-tuned, different version of Stable Diffusion XL. And as you can see in the dropdown, this also has Stable Diffusion XL base as an option, and it also has realistic stock photo. These are the 3 models that this loads by default. And you can see some of the differences in the images. Let's go ahead and try the realistic stock photo. And again, these results are incredible. These images look fantastic, and they're very photorealistic. Now you can also come in here and you can add a refiner. This is just something that helps define a little bit better detail at the last portion of the generation of an image. I'll give you an example. You can see here it suggests when to switch over depending on the type of Stable Diffusion model you're using. 40% or 60% for Stable Diffusion 1.5 or 80% for a Stable Diffusion XL model. So we'll select 80%. We'll generate a couple more images. Now what's going to happen here is it's going to generate all the way up to 80% of basically the 60 steps that it's going to take to produce this image. And then at the 80% mark, it's going to switch from the Stable Diffusion realistic stock photo model to the realistic stock photo refiner model. So it's going to use 2 different sort of Stable Diffusion models to generate one image. And here's the result that we get back. I do see that there's some issues with the right eye here, or actually her left eye. But that's something you could easily fix with Inpainting, and we'll cover that here in a little bit. We'll go ahead and return the refiner off, and we'll drop back down to Juggernaut XL for our model. You'll notice you can also add a LoRa. So if you've got a custom trained model, you've followed one of my tutorials like this one to generate some LoRa files of your own images of yourself or of any other person, place, object, thing. You can load those up here too. You can start using that. But what if you wanted to create something completely different? You wanted to do anime or some other art style that one of these stable diffusion models isn't really good at by default. Well, the really flexible thing here and something you can't do in MidJourney is you can head over to Civet AI and you can scroll through the seemingly endless list of models that people have uploaded and provided and trained. These are all fine-tuned to produce different art styles. You can see here, small animals, you've got crystals, you've got SDXL snow style, pretty much anything you can possibly imagine somebody has probably created here. And all you have to do is download one of these files, drop it into your models directory in Fooocus, or if it's a LoRa, drop it into the LoRa directory. Jumping over to the advanced tab, you have a couple of things here, guidance, scale. This basically gives you cleaner, more vivid, more artistic looking photos to a degree. Just play around with this slider. Sometimes high values can produce weird results, but have a look at it and see what it does for you. Image sharpness, sometimes, and this has been a critique of stable diffusion in general, it can create some sort of washed out, smooth images. This just helps get some more defined detail into it. By default, it has an image sharpness of 2, but if you bump that up, obviously, you're going to get a little bit sharper. And that takes us over to the Style tab, probably the most impressive thing about Fooocus. You can see that by default, it has Focus V2, Focus Enhance, and Focus Sharp selected. You could also select Photograph, for example. Focus V2, when you have that selected, under the hood, this is using a GPT-2 large language model. And what it's doing is it's actually trying to take your prompt, understand what you're trying to create, and then adding some of these other enhancements to it. So sharpness, photograph, focus enhance. You could select some of these other ones like Zelda, for example. And it's applying those behind the scenes to your photo so that you get this really high quality result, but you don't have to spend hours tweaking your prompt. And I'll show you an example. We'll deselect all of these and we'll just select Focus V2 and then we'll do art style steampunk. We're going to keep the same prompt, a beautiful woman, and I'll show you what we mean when we say that this is doing a lot of tweaking and tuning behind the scenes. And here we get an image with a lot of that ornate detail you would expect from something about steampunk. Really cool result. Now, here's where it gets even more powerful. You can apply multiple different styles that are completely different at the same time, and somehow the magic of that GPT-2 large language model is going to figure it all out and make something that makes sense. So let's pick neon punk and Zelda. Why not? Click generate. And there you go. With zero extra effort, you've now got a completely different art style. And I've got to say, it's a really beautiful image. You can see elements of kind of the colors that you would get from Zelda, that steampunk, really highly intricate detail. And then obviously the purple hair and such, the lighting, that comes from the neon punk. Let's try a couple more here. We'll deselect the others and we'll just go with graffiti style. Let's turn this woman into some graffiti art. Amazing. Here's a graffiti version of a similar woman. Really cool that you can do this. You can see that it even blends in. You can see the sidewalk coming up to the sides and the edges. This is really, really cool. Looks very realistic. But what if we want an origami woman instead? And crazy enough, it actually looks like folded paper. Although the face, I think, is a little too smooth to be folded paper, but you get the idea. You can do some really cool stuff here. Honestly, just for the art styles alone, I think this is more powerful than what you can do with MidJourney. That's not even really getting into the whole of it. If you go back here and you click off of the advanced and you go to input image, this is where things get really cool. You'll see that now we have an input box to drop in an image, and then we have the same settings that you'd see in MidJourney. Very subtle, very strong, upscale, upscale 2x, upscale fast 2x. The exact same things you'd have in MidJourney. And all you have to do is click on the image and drag it down, and you can see that it drops directly in here. You don't have to do anything else. We'll go ahead and say, let's vary it subtly. And here you can see the two images. It looks like it changed the style of her earrings. They're now silver instead of sort of that greenish gold color. and a couple other minor details. But again, pretty subtle. Click on varied strong, and we'll get back a much different result, I think. And there we go. Now we got back a different hairstyle, different outfit, no earrings, a lot of variation in this. Really cool. But what else can you do? Well, you can also do control net type things. I'm gonna load up this image of this guy looking surprised. It's just one that I downloaded from the internet. I'm gonna click on advanced, and you can see here it has image prompt, Pyrocanny, CPDS, and face swap. For this, let's do face swap. You can see it automatically sets the weight, so you don't have to think about it. You don't have to do anything. And we'll click on generate again. And as simple as that, you have complete control over the poses that end up coming back for your characters. It's easily one of my favorite features and something I could probably spend all day talking about. But I won't. We'll move on to Inpainting. And for this, we'll drop the image that we just generated right here. And this is similar to the MidJourney pan feature. So you can pan left, right, top, bottom. We'll just do left and right for this one. We'll try and make a wider image. And I should note the first time you use the Inpaint feature, it's going to say downloading Inpainter. It's 1.28 gigabytes, so it's going to take a few minutes to download, but it never has to do it again. It's just that first time that you trigger Inpainting triggers it to download this from the internet. And now you can see it's actually adding details to the left and right sides of the image. Now this image probably wasn't the best one to select because I used a cinematic depth of field, so it has sort of blurred background. Let's try another one that's maybe a little bit more interesting. Here we have an image I generated yesterday that's sort of this really cozy room inside of a cave. Let's have that generate the left and right sides. And now we get these sort of wooden doors opening up to this cave. Pretty cool. And you can also do inpainting and outpainting. You can select a brush here and just highlight something. Say this plant over here in the corner. We'll paint it up, and then we can say modify content, add objects, change backgrounds, etc. And then you just come over here and describe what you want to inpaint. In our case, we'll say a flower vase. Click generate, and you can see it's starting to modify that section of the image specifically. Looks like it's generating a vase and then various different types of flowers. Now we could have been more specific, obviously. Let's see what it comes up with, giving it full freedom. And there we go. That's actually really cool. I replaced that pot in the corner, added these flowers to it. You can add and remove pretty much anything you want with inpainting and outpainting. And as you can see, it's really intuitive and easy to use. The other thing you can do is improve qualities and details of images you've already generated. So in this case, we'll select from the drop down, improve detail, face, hands, eyes, etc. Then we could say beautiful eyes or detailed girl face. We'll say detailed girl face. Click generate. And here's the result. Highly detailed image. Looks pretty good overall. So you can do a lot here with these advanced image to image controls. The last one that we'll touch on is describe. This is another feature directly from MidJourney. So let's drag our image down here. Then we'll see if it can actually describe this image. What describe does is it actually returns a prompt from an image. So it actually reverse engineers images. Let's see how close this one can get. And in this case, pretty accurate. It says a woman with long hair looking away into the distance. We can generate an image based on that. And here's our image. Obviously, you're not going to get the exact image from a describe prompt, but you're going to get something that's similar in style, theme, feel, that sort of thing. And last but not least, you could do image upscaling. So if you wanted a larger image, this one was 1024 by 1024. If you wanted something larger, you can say upscale 2x over on this first tab. Click generate, and it's going to go ahead and upscale the image for you just like it would in MidJourney. And here's our 2048 by 2048 upscaled image. And looks like I'm going to need to do some inpainting on that hand. Drop that in inpainting, select the hand with the brush, and we'll say detailed hand in the prompt. That one might take a little bit more tweaking. Looks like she's got a sixth finger, but maybe she's just a really good piano player. And with that, I hope you enjoyed our Fooocus deep dive. If you did, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. And let me know what you'd like to see in the future down in the comments below. As always, I'm Brian Lovett. This is All Your Tech AI, and we'll check you next time. Thank you so much.
I'm the virtual prophet in the tech town, breaking down AI, wearing the crown. From basics to complex, never let you down. All your tech AI, earning the renown.